You're with Chinchu. Today I'm going to talk about Ielts, I-E-L-T-S, International English Language Testing System. Although I have uploaded 3 videos on this topic, but those are in Malayalam, so not everybody can understand. Even if you have seen those videos, you will surely get some additional information out of this. I had been working as an Ielts trainer also, so I thought of sharing some really good information, or I can say most important information with you. So in this video, we are going to discuss everything about Ielts, what it is, why is it needed. All that information is going to be discussed in this video. So without any ado, let's get started. So from the elaboration of the abbreviation IELTS, you'll be knowing that it's gonna be an advanced testing of your English language. First of all, there are 2 types of Ielts. The first one is general Ielts and the second one is academic Ielts. There is a difference between the two. I'm going to explain about that itself. Why is it required? Why is Ielts required? If you want to study abroad or want to migrate to any of the foreign countries, you need to clear this examination. I'm not saying it is required for all the countries out there. Obviously, there are some exemption countries where you are not required to clear this examination. But in most of the countries, or you can say in the majority of the cases, you require IELTS score. And the score also varies. Some countries prefer 6.5 overall band for academic IELTS, whereas some require 7. It just varies depending on the country as well. As I said, there are 2 types of IELTS. The first one is academic IELTS, which means if you want to study abroad, study in any of the foreign nations, you need to clear academic IELTS with an overall band of 6.5. Alright. The other type is general IELTS. If you want to migrate to a foreign country, in that case you need to clear general IELTS, not the academic one. And in the case of general IELTS, you need a better score, 778. There are 4 modules in IELTS that I'm going to explain in the later part of this video. Alright. 778 in the sense for listening you need to get 8. For the rest of the modules, which are writing, speaking and reading, for these 3 modules you need to get at least 7 score. These are the required score for general IELTS. In order to migrate to a foreign country, you want to get the PR over there and work in that particular country, you need to clear this examination. Alright. And the score, 778 also varies depending on the countries, okay. I heard for nurses in some countries, the score required is 777, 6.5. 6.5 is allowed for writing. It also, as I have just mentioned in the very beginning of this video, the required score might change depending on the country and profession. And one more thing, not every country requires IELTS score for migration or for abroad studies. Okay, there are exemption cases. Now let's talk about modules of IELTS, whether that's general IELTS or academic IELTS. There are exactly 4 modules: listening, reading, writing and speaking. You can't be generalizing like one module is tougher than the other, because for some students they find speaking a very big deal. For others, writing would be really tough. So it varies depending upon your fluency and language proficiency. First of all, you need to identify where exactly you stand in terms of your language, whether you are a beginner, intermediate, proficient speaker or an excellent speaker. You need to identify that, depending on which just make a detailed plan to crack this examination and gradually enhance your language to a great extent. Now let's discuss each of these modules in brief. First one, speaking module. Speaking module consists of 3 parts exactly: warm-up questions, the cue card session and the final follow-up question. The entire speaking session might last around 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. It varies depending on the examiner and the questions being asked to you. Alright. The very first part is warm-up question, in which you will be asked about 3 to 4 questions, completely personalized and simple questions such as your hobbies, your hometown or the best trip you went on. It could be anything. And you need to answer these warm-up questions in around 2 to 3 sentences. That's the ideal length of a warm-up question. It's not necessary that you have to stick to the length always. It's completely fine. But make sure that you're not dragging it too long or making it too short. Like the answer should not be like yes, no. It should be accompanied with reasons or justifying statements. The second part is cue card, which is the most important part of the entire speaking session. In case of cue card, you will be given one major question consisting of 4 to 5 sub questions, okay, and you will be given 1 minute time period to think upon and just prepare for the cue card, and you need to talk for at least 2 minutes on that particular topic, in which you will be talking on that major question, covering all the sub questions as well in that 2 minutes itself. During the preparation time of 1 minute, you will be given a pencil and a paper to just jot down the points. In the cue card session, you will be thoroughly evaluated. But in this first case, which is warm-up questions, you won't be evaluated. The only purpose of warm-up questions is just to make comfortable with the examiner and the ambience over there. Cue card could be any simple question relating to your past or future plans, something like that. Say for example, talk about an intelligent person you know. That is a major question of the cue card. And the sub-questions would be, who is that person, how do you know him, why do you think he is smart, or how do you feel about him. The questions would be something like this. Coming towards the last part of the speaking session, which is the follow-up questions. In case of follow-up questions, you will be asked direct or indirect questions related to the cue card itself. As I have just mentioned before, the cue card is talking about an intelligent person you know, right? So the follow-up question would be something directly or indirectly connected with intelligence or that particular cue card. Say for example, follow-up question might be, are all intelligent people happy? Are all intelligent people selfish? Something like this. Again, the number of follow-up questions would be like around 3 to 4. It would vary depending on the examiner, as always. And the ideal length of a follow-up questions would be 3 to 4 sentences. Don't make it too lengthy, don't keep it too short, okay? Now let's talk about the parameters on the basis of which the speaking module would be evaluated. Fluency, intonation, grammatical range and accuracy, mother tongue influence, memorized words. There are various other parameters. They would be thoroughly evaluating, and finally you will be getting a band based on that. Now I am going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions by Ielts students. Just comment down below if I missed any of your questions. The very first question. We will be given a paper and a pencil to just jot down the points while preparing for that particular cue card. Okay, the question is, are we allowed to look into that paper or our points while talking or while speaking on that particular cue card? And the answer is yes, we are. We can just look into it when we miss out any points, or we can check whether we have missed out any of the sub questions. That's completely fine. Just don't take the paper, just read it out loud like a lesson. That's it. You can look at that as many times you want. That's completely fine. The second frequently asked question. For migration, for example, we need to get a score of 777, 8 for listening, and for the remaining 3 modules we need to get at least 7. We got even better scores than that for the rest of the modules except writing, and for writing we could only score 6.5. So in that case, what is the solution? Are we required to write that particular writing module again? No, we need to write all the 4 modules again, not just writing. If you are not getting the desired score for any one module out of the 4 modules, you need to write all the 4 modules again. You cannot just go with that particular module in which you failed or in which you got the lower score. I hope it's clear. Now let's talk about fees. The Ielts exam registration fees is around 14,000. Around 14,000. I'm not saying the exact amount, okay? And third question. How many times we can write Ielts? We can write Ielts any number of times. The only pain is the fees we have to pay for that. For one-time appearance, the fees for Ielts is around 14,000. I'm not saying the exact amount, okay? You need to rewrite the examination. You have to pay that entire amount again. If you're appearing for Ielts 5 times, you need to pay that 14,000, around 14,000 amount 5 times. So just imagine how costly it would be if you're just going for reappearing. I was a speaking trainer of Ielts, so I would be having more speaking related questions and doubts from my students. So I'm going to clear most of them in this video itself. Regarding other modules, you can just comment down and ask me the questions. The question is, in case of cue card, there would be 4 to 5 sub questions, right? Do we have to answer all these sub questions in that particular order or in that particular sequence? Not at all. You are not required to answer those sub questions in that particular pattern itself. No rules like that. And it would be even more fascinating if you're just answering the cue card in terms of a story. You're building a beautiful story in which you will be explaining everything about that major question and also accommodating the answers for all these sub questions. If you need part 2 for this Ielts video, do comment down. Now let's talk about writing module. There would be a slight difference between academic IELTS and the general IELTS. In case of academic IELTS, the writing module consists of two parts. The first part would be graph and the second part would be essay. Alright? And in case of general IELTS, there are again two parts. The first part would be letter and the second part would be essay. In both these types, essay would be having a higher weightage in comparison to letter or graph. Next module is reading. In case of reading module, there is again a slight difference between academic IELTS and general IELTS. If I could remember correctly, in case of reading module, academic IELTS consists of 3 big paragraphs, and in case of general IELTS, reading modules consist of 5 small. Small in the sense, in comparison to reading modules of academic IELTS, this would be small in size, small passages, 5 passages would be there, alright. And in case of academic IELTS, 3 passages, passage 1, 2 and 3. Generally, it would be of a pattern that one would be easier, and second one would be average, and third one would be the toughest. Okay. Normally, it's been said that divide the time in between the 3 passages equally. Like you will be given 1 hour time period, 60 minutes for these 3 paragraphs in case of academic IELTS. I specifically say that. Okay. In case of academic IELTS, you will be getting 60 minutes for these 3 passages. You will be dividing equally 20, 20 and 20. I would suggest it would be a better choice if you don't divide equally, because in most of the cases, I'm not saying in all the cases, but in most of the cases, in case of reading itself, the first paragraph would be the easiest, second would be average, and the third one would be the toughest. So the time taken would vary. So take the less time for the first one, a little more time for the second one, and save maximum time for the third passages. Since it's gonna be tough, you might be taking more time for that. So you should be having that amount of time, or you need to skip at least 3 to 4 questions from the last. Now the last module is listening. In case of listening, what is most important is pronunciation. No, not your pronunciation. You should be able to understand the pronunciation of the foreign speakers or the native speakers of foreign countries. Why is it so important? It is because you should be able to clearly identify or understand each and every word they are speaking, because those recordings won't be played twice. All the recordings would be played only once, and you will be given a set of headphones to hear it clearly, but you won't be allowed to hear it again. There are a lot of tips and tricks in order to crack IELTS in like 20-25 days with lots of smart tips and hacks. If you want to know about it, do comment down so that I can make a video and upload it again for you. While preparing for the speaking module, try to just enhance your pronunciation as well. Say for example, it's not pronunciation, it's pronunciation. It's not vegetable, it's vegetable. Comfortable, no, it's comfortable. It's not pizza, it's pizza. If you find this video useful or informative, just share this video with your friends and family who might be looking for such kind of informations. If you like this video, give it a big fat thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe my channel for more such informative videos. Until next time, take care, bye bye.